Seattle-Tacoma International Airport has become the northwest gateway into America, starting to rival that of other airports like LAX. Now we're close, but it's getting there. The long-term growth for Seattle-Tacoma is needed to help facilitate the growth of the Seattle-Tacoma metro area. With the whole metro area projected to increase by 1 million residents by 2035, this plan has been in the works for decades and honestly has been in the planning stages, at least for this new master plan, long before we've even started covering this. What's going on, everyone? My name's Titanium68, and in today's American Airport Expansions video, we're going to be taking a fresh look at Seattle-Tacoma's Sustainable Airport Master Plan. Let's roll that intro. Now, to start off with, Seattle-Tacoma International Airport was built in 1942 as a new airport to serve the Seattle metro area. At the time, the U.S. military had taken over Boeing Field, which is now also nicknamed Payne Field. This is where Boeing pretty much test flights a lot of their planes since, well, their main plant for the then 747s and now the 767s, some 737 lines, and the Boeing 777 are built. Now, what the government did at the time is they decided to give them a $1 million grant to build a new airport to serve the Seattle metro area. So what they did is there were two locations that were originally being chosen. They were both off of Route 99, but one was close to Bow Lake, south of Seattle, and then the other one was actually closer to Lake Sammamish. Probably said that wrong. If I did, I am very sorry on that. What they did is they chose the latter one. And part of the reason why they chose that was because the one next to Bow Lake, not Lake Sammamish, sorry, the one near Lake Sammamish was actually too close to the Cascades region. But then also the city of Tacoma did provide $100,000 towards the airport's construction as part of a deal for the Bow Lake site. Hence why it's called the Seattle-Tacoma International Airport. Costing $4.2 million to build at the time, this airport is located on a 2,500-acre plot of land 14 miles south of downtown Seattle and 18 miles northeast of downtown Tacoma. The airport's first scheduled commercial flight began in September of 1947, with the terminal dedication taking place on July 9th, 1949. In 1961, the airport is expanded to handle jetliners and added new concourses and satellite terminals by 1973. The main runway was extended several times and then twinned in 1970, with the third runway opening in 2008 after several decades of planning due to local opposition. Throughout the 2010s, several major concourse expansions and renovations were done to accommodate passenger growth at SeaTac as Delta Airlines established a new Trans-Pacific hub at the airport. Delta's presence at Seattle was seen as a response to United's Trans-Pacific hub at San Francisco, as well as its disenchantment from its former hub at Tokyo Narita. When Alaskan Airlines joined the One World Alliance with American announced that they would increase their international presence in Seattle. However, American has pretty much abandoned all plans for its long-haul flights to Asia from Seattle and also ended service to London Heathrow, American's only intercontinental service from Seattle. Now this brings us to today. Since May of 2018, the airport has been working on a new plan for the airport called the Sustainable Airport Master Plan. The plan was introduced to allow for Seattle-Tacoma Airport to satisfy the region's transportation needs through the next 20 years and identify measures that would enable the Port of Seattle, the group that owns and operates the airport, among the other transportation facilities across the Seattle-Tacoma metro area, to build, manage, and operate the airport's facilities in its way that will meet the organization's sustainability goals and objectives. Now, where we are today, this plan has gotten to the point where the Federal Aviation Authority has completed the draft environmental assessment for the National Environmental Policy Act. Now, originally published on October 22nd of this past year for public viewing, comments are made available up until about December 13th, about 2 weeks after this video has been published. With every environmental assessment, whether it be for airports or any of our other stuff like we talked about, like road construction, organizations allow for local residents to add comments and feedback towards those environmental assessment before they finalize that environmental assessment. And especially with road construction projects, this is also where they will make their record on what they'll choose to do. Now you might ask yourself, Titanium, why is this environmental assessment even a thing? And the reason why we have environmental assessments is because for something as major as an airport expansion, it's going to take up a lot of unused land, and they might have to buy up new land that isn't owned by the airport. Everything has to be meticulously thought of so that it does not make a huge environmental impact. Now, the reason why this is such a big deal is because this is actually only covering some of the near-term projects. And this is some of the stuff that they're talking about. So, for example, this is right on the north side of the airport. These two warehouses that are being shown here, kind of a little bit out off of the main core, are these two plots of lands here. So this is right off of Highway 518 between 154th and 152nd. And then we also have these two plots of land between 148th and 152nd Street west of here. Now also this plots of land here are also looking to be built out. And then there's also supposed to be stuff here, according to the near-term plans. Now, also on the west side, there are also plans to build another warehouse facility for the airport, as well as a brand new terminal right over here where there's a bunch of cargo facilities. And then there are some other things that are in the works. Like, for example, there are going to be some new support facilities, especially for fuel. And then it looks like on the very southwest side over here where the terminal operation, where the airport operations are, is where they're going to add some new maintenance. Well, I don't know if it's maintenance hangars or if it's going to be cargo hangars, but some form of hangars. But the thing with that is there's a lot of stuff that's going on. I mean, look, for the terminal side, that new terminal that's looking to be built right over here, all of that is supposed to be in the middle of where Alaska Air, Southwest, and Swissport's cargo facilities are, as well as where the Worldwide Flight Services building is, and as well as the building for the Port of Seattle Fire Department. Again, we've already talked about the west side where they're going to be adding fuel tanks and that stuff in the near term. In the far term, it's going to be more of that stuff there. But one other interesting thing is, let's say we wanted to take a look at the longer term plan. So everything in like dark gray is longer term. So even though, yes, there is supposed to be a new expansion, new terminal that is technically considered near term, longer term is an extension of that terminal, maybe in like rebuilding of the maintenance facilities here, maybe another warehouse next to the parking lot here. This whole maintenance slash cargo facility is supposed to be long term, but then the rebuild of taxiways, pretty much between this is 1634C, where they're pretty much just going to straighten a lot of this stuff out and then build a wraparound leading up for 1634L, and then another wraparound on the east side. I mean, all of that's going to be... That stuff's more long-term, and I could see why, because I would believe that there's not really much. Now, the thing is this was originally published in 2016, at least like one of the first executive summaries for the Sustainable Airport Master Plan. And the original thought process was, okay, well, they're planning on doing this. They're going to account for 56 million annual passengers. Now, the thing about Seattle-Tacoma is that I think in 2023, they were dangerously close to 50 million already. So when this originally came out in 2016, there had been 45.7 million passengers in 2016. Their record is still in 2019 with 51.8, but in 2023 they just hit 50.8, which that is a lot of passengers. I would be surprised if they're going to target 56, because it would look like they're going to probably target somewhere closer to 75-80 million. Now, with these new near-term projects, this will allow them to expand and help facilitate the growth around the Seattle-Tacoma metropolitan area, as well as the growth of the airport. Including in these 30 or so new projects includes a second terminal with a total of 19 gates, as well as new cargo facilities, both on I believe it's on the west side, and then some more support facilities. Now, that west side stuff is going to replace a lot of the support facilities that are currently in the place of where the terminal is now, so it's not surprising. Now, these projects, however, were supposed to be either completed or under construction by 2027, which meant that some of these larger projects probably would probably have started construction, if not already about halfway done. However, thanks to the pandemic, the airport is not expected to see these projects open or under construction until 2032, which is now 5 years behind schedule. Part of this had to do with the draft environmental assessment being published earlier this year. Now, if this new master plan does their similar stuff to how the DOT goes for the schematic phases and environmental reviews to design and eventual construction, some of these first projects may not actually start until maybe 26 or 27, depending on when the final environmental assessment is published. My guess is that it's probably not going to be published until sometime around the summer or fall of this year, meaning that they may not start construction until late 2027, maybe mid 2028 at the earliest. I may be wrong, but again, that's just my prediction. And with that, we're going to end this video here, guys. Thank you so much for watching today's aviation video over the Seattle-Tacoma International Airport. If you liked what you just watched, please leave a like and subscribe down below. We have now completed all the previous airports that I did take a look back in 2018 and going into 2019. And pretty much after the new year, we're going to start looking at other airports that I have not discussed before. If you don't want to miss any future aviation videos going over other American airport expansion projects, or even some other just random aviation videos that I know of, especially here in the North Texas area, as well as our automotive and mountain bike content, hit that bell icon down below so that you're notified when each of these videos drop at 8 a.m. on their respective days. Now, because we've also just now hit about 250, which I believe when this video is published, we've hit 257. I will be working on some new weather content that will be dropping on the channel after the new year. Not sure exactly which day, but we are going to be working on that. So again, hit that bell icon if you guys are really interested in those weather video and weather. We're going to have stuff coming out for y'all. Again, lastly, hope you all have a great day, a great weekend. I'll see y'all on Tuesday for our New Year's Eve video. Peace.